Hi everybody, this is Andrew Lengerich from Elevate Physiotherapy. I'm bringing you week 5 of the Axon 3 Rings Challenge. This is going to be the tune-up and mobility session, and it's going to be focused all around lacrosse balls and foam rollers. So the first thing we want to do, let's grab our lacrosse ball. If you're using a baseball, tennis ball, whatever, you're going to take it and you're going to put it on the floor here, and you're going to work on taking care of the feet. So just put some good amount of pressure here. Don't do this sitting, do it standing, so you can put some good pressure through the foot, and you just want to roll nice and slow and easy. Now we've got the plantar fascia, a thick fibrous tissue on the bottom of your foot. We've also got all kinds of layers of intrinsic muscles that help stabilize and work to keep your balance and help support your feet. So you can put a good amount of pressure here without doing any damage. Really try to get in there if you need to. Our feet are incredible. They take a lot of force when we're walking, running, weightlifting, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of the foundation of how we move, so we want to make sure that we're taking care of the feet. So if you find a spot that feels really tender, a lot of times if you have a history of plantar fasciitis, it'll be right at the heel, at the base of the heel. You can go ahead and just apply some pressure there and just hold that position. Or if it just feels good, don't really have much foot pain or anything like that, and it feels good just to kind of roll nice and slow and easy through the muscles, that's perfectly fine as well. Just trying to maintain some of that mobility in the foot itself. So, and if you are somebody, go ahead and switch feet, who's maybe had a history of plantar fasciitis or is actively having foot pain. Go ahead and put your ball in the freezer, or take a water bottle, just a plastic water bottle, put it in the freezer, and then you can use that, and so you get some of the benefits of like the cooling effects of the ice while you're doing the mobility work itself. Sometimes if your feet are really sensitive and uncomfortable, that's a good way to kind of get over the hump, being able to work on some of the mobility stuff. So again, some nice deep pressure there. Again, if you find a tight spot, you can just maintain some pressure. And if you're someone who knows you've had issues with one foot and not the other, I would recommend spending a little extra time there if you need to. So we're going to stick with the lacrosse ball. If you have a chair to sit on, preferably one with a little harder surface, what you're going to do is we're going to work on the hamstrings here. So you're going to go and take the ball, find a spot on your hamstring and put some pressure through the ball. Once you find a spot that feels pretty tight and irritable, you're going to sit up tall with good posture, and then you're just going to kick your leg straight out and come back down. And as you feel like that muscle kind of loosens up, or you feel like the tenderness isn't there, you can go ahead and move, to a different location. If you're someone who, has some high hamstring issues, then, move it up a little bit higher into the hamstring to make sure you're getting the areas that are problematic for you. Tightness in the hamstrings can pull all the way up and change the mechanics at the lower back. So a lot of times you'll see people with really tight and inflexible hamstrings and hips too, that are going to have a lot of complaints of back pain that's difficult for them to get over. Again, the goal is to try to get that knee as straight as possible, but I don't want you slouching down like this just to be able to get it. So up nice and tall, and that's about as far as I can go. So just fight for that straight, but make sure it's good quality movement each time. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. Again, I just kind of put the ball underneath there, and then I kind of roll my legs side to side, place it up and down, trying to find the spots. Once you start working on doing this regularly, you'll find the spots you need to work on a lot quicker after the experience of doing it. All right. And again, if you're someone who's had hamstring tightness or issues on one side more than the other, I'd recommend, spending a little bit of extra time on that side. All right, one last thing with the lacrosse ball. We're going to work on the hip flexors here. So what you're going to do is you're going to be placing the ball right underneath that bony prominence on the front side of your hip and really getting deep into those deep hip flexors. So the foam roller doesn't really get in there deep enough. That's why I like to use the ball. Now just be gentle here because it doesn't take a lot of pressure to feel that tenderness. So find that spot and then I want you to just relax down there. So the deep hip flexor muscles, the psoas, especially attaches up into the lower back. So, as you're doing this, you might feel a little bit of pain that feels like it might radiate through to the back side of your lower back, and that's perfectly fine. That's nothing to shy away from. Those trigger points can recreate and cause some of the pain that you're having. It means you should stay there and work on that spot a little bit longer until you feel some of that discomfort subside. If you come up too high and you feel like you're rolling on that bony spot on your pelvis, that means that you need to come down just a little bit lower. So rolling on the bone is going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to do any damage. You're not going to hurt yourself, but it's not going to be very beneficial from a mobility standpoint. And if you need to go down just a little bit further, down onto the thigh here, that's okay as well. All right, we'll go ahead and switch sides. Again, kind of finding the spot right below the bony part of the pelvis, and then you're going to lie on it. And if you want to, this will intensify it a little bit. If you're a little bit lower in the thigh, you can bring your heel up to your butt. You don't necessarily have to do that. A lot of people will feel plenty of discomfort and tightness in the hip flexors without it. So just going to stay here. Again, if those spots feel like they kind of loosen up a little bit and you feel like you need to move it to a different spot, that's perfectly fine. Also, if you're rolling through there and you don't feel a lot of tenderness, it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all, it's okay to just move on to something else. But I would be shocked with how much people sit and how much working out they do that these hip flexors don't have some tender, tight spots in them that need a little love. All right, for the next one, we're going to start off using the foam roller. Instead, we're going to work on the back side of the hips. I will show a variation where you're sitting on the lacrosse ball, but most people can get into their hip just fine with the foam roller. So what you're going to do is you're going to cross your leg over here like this, shift your weight, and then you're just going to roll nice and slow through the hip. So putting your leg in this position helps to open up the hip joint itself so you can get a little bit deeper into the muscle. So if this feels like you feel some tenderness there, I would just stick with that. Now, if you're not feeling a lot there or you just want to give it a shot, the other option is that you take the ball and you sit on the ball and you put your foot in that position. Now, if you can't get your hip into this position, if you don't have the flexibility yet, it's okay to just be here in this position without the leg across. You'll still be able to get in and work through the muscles. All right, let's go ahead and switch. Again, I'll show it on the foam roller this time, but if you feel like the ball gets it better, then go ahead and stick with that. So cross your leg over, shift your weight onto that side, and just roll nice and easy. Again, if you don't have the flexibility, doing it this way is just fine. But if you're feeling like it's loosening up, go ahead and give this position a try. All right, so that'll wrap up week 5 of the 3 Rings Challenge at Axon. Again, I'm Andrew Lengerich, owner of Elevate Physiotherapy. If you have any questions on different mobility tips and tricks, or you have had an injury in the past that you'd like to get addressed, feel free to reach out. My information is below. That's it.